Okay, so a very good morning to all the participants. So today with us, engineer Himmi Gupta ji, who is our faculty at NIRRR Chandigarh in the Department of Civil Engineering, and she is having a vast experience in civil engineering and structural engineering and waste management system. So she is a very eminent uh, faculty at NITRA Chandigarh. So I hope that you will enjoy her lecture and you will definitely clear some of the queries. And for the information of Himmi madam, we are having participants from Tamil Nadu, from Chandigarh, and they all are from assistant engineering engineers level, and we are having few participants from engineering colleges also,
Okay,
professors and associate professors.
all
So
right.
the participants from Tamil Nadu, they are from rural development and Panchayati Raj. So I think
Wonderful.
they are the most wanted your lecture, and they want to clear some of their queries because they are implementing this waste management system in their fields. So definitely they will enjoy your lecture. So now I would like to request you to kindly start your lecture.
Yes,
Thank you.
very thank you, Dr. Goyal, for the warm welcome and very good morning to all the participants. I'm very delighted to be among this gathering here. So, as Dr. Amit has told me, you all are having backgrounds wherein you are actually implementing what civil engineering really is. So, I myself feel very proud to be a civil engineer and always happy to be among civil engineers because we make a lot of changes to the society. We do very eminent part we are playing in the society. And therefore, we have to remember that we have that kind of responsibility also on us. So if we have that kind of power to create things, create infrastructure, create good society, good facilities, we also have onus on us to do things in a better way, in a sustainable way, and most importantly these days in a smart way. Okay. So as I understand from talking to Dr. Amit, that your 1 week program is on the smart concepts, what can be applied. So I'll be today talking about the smart waste management. Waste management is a big issue these days. We all see it around us. There is so much hue and cry, about waste. Waste, not only solid waste. There are so many waste which we have actually, because of our greed, not our need, but our greed as a human society, which we have, introduced into the various elements of this earth, be it air, water, or either the acoustic systems, the buildings, infrastructure, land, everything is polluted these days. So the waste management, and not only earth, even the other species, the animals, the flora, the fauna, they're also suffering because of the human actions. Somehow I think we humans have forgotten that we are one of the many million species. We're just one of the many million species. It's not that we own this earth. You have to understand this earth is shared by many other species and they all have equal right on this earth. And most importantly, we should not forget that what we are using today on this earth is kind of what our ancestors have passed on to us as a loan. Okay, not as a, it is not this is not something which I can use as I like. So I have to pass it on. I have a responsibility to pass on to my children also. So let's start thinking in that way is what my appeal is always. Start thinking in a more sustainable fashion. Let's not look at everything in a financial way. Let's look at the environmental value of things. Anything which we do, every small to small things that we do in our life, from the time we wake up from till the time we sleep, every activity, these days can be linked to how we are affecting this earth in a bad manner. So anything, if you think of, our mode of transportations and everything, slowly we are moving to it. But again, the idea is coming out of your comfort zone. You're going to shopping, aapko roz you're going to pick milk for your home. Okay, why are you taking a plastic bag with you? Why not? Why can't we take reusable bags? Why not completely take plastic out of the system? Even if you go to any small vendor, even they are carrying those plastic bags because they're saying, because if we don't keep the bag, we won't be able to sell our items. So if we as consumers start saying no to the plastic bags, which again is a big menace to the solid waste. What you see around in the big cities, the big dumps that we see around, which you see all those cows and dogs and the mosquito menace around. That is all, most of it is all plastic. So these are small, small things. Again, we have to start, coming out of a comfort zone, as we say. I personally in my home, I would like to share. It took me little time, to tell even my husband, every day he goes to take milk, that why are you bringing a plastic bag? It took me little time, maybe प्यार से भी and थोड़ा गुस्से से भी बोलना पड़ा. Still, it is a comfort factor that you cannot just pick a bag from your home, which is a cloth bag. So it happens, but it happens. With time, it will happen. I have done it myself, so I feel we all can make this change. And the biggest change we can bring about is what we have at our dispense as teachers, as officers, as government officers. What you have at your disposal is so many students and so many people which are in your teams. We can always spread this message around, tell them. And just saying is not the thing. We should always, walk the talk. Let's start doing it. Let's start implementing it. My daughter, I try to always tell her, that don't waste water and all those things. So these things somehow get imbibed in the minds of the children. So let's start doing that in our families also and everywhere. So, that will help. So waste is just one aspect of it. I'm sure Dr. Amit has been discussing many things around. I hear yesterday you had on structural health monitoring also, how smart innovations are helping there. So that is also important. So today we'll discuss a little about smart waste management. So I'll just share my screen now. Just give me a minute.
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
I hope you all are able to see my screen, friends.
Yes, madam. We can see.
Okay, all right. So I always, when I talk of these waste managements and all, I always try to start with this beautiful picture. Yeah, I feel like this is something we all would like to have in our lives in every day. And to be very frank, with our city life, urban lives, what we have generated is taking us away from all of these things. This is something we all want, and it is still in our hands. So we start with this, but actually what happens is, what is the ground reality today is so many challenges that we are facing. Challenges in term of land. The land is very less because the population is increasing. We have to provide housing to everyone, affordable housing to everyone. Land is not there. People are going vertical now. Okay, so the land is polluted. How there is no land to grow agriculture crops. We are all deforesting so much just for the human needs. So all those kind of things, costs are increasing. Amenities have to be provided. There are still many people who might not be even having the basic amenities around them. Sanitation, hygiene, and all those things. Biodiversity is at such a big risk these days. We all know so many species have gone extinct. Population is aging. That is also there. That the population that is almost at the retirement age, aging age. So, but still, India is said is blessed to be having a youth population which can do a lot of things in the future. Okay, aesthetics is an issue these days. In the kind of rat race to just build infrastructure, many infrastructure, I would say, have forgotten. Civil engineers or others, they have forgotten what aesthetics is. Even civil structures can look good. And I would like to say it is not only like the architect who can do that. As civil engineers, as structural engineers, even we have a role to play. We should make our buildings, our structures like bridges and all these. They should be aesthetics. If you all know, you all must have heard of places like Golden Gate Bridge and all these kind of bridges that are there. The landmark bridges. India also has now one in the Mumbai. So, what is the government doing there? The bridge is not only serving the purpose of transportation over the river, it is also fetching revenue to the government. So why not? Let's start looking into those aspects. Let's be smart about these things. Okay, funds is an issue. Safety again is a big issue. I myself safe like things are around here. So it's all about the mindset. People, the mindset should be in the right direction rather than towards the criminal activities. So transportation, climate change, we are all feeling it, the climate change. We don't know how the climate is reacting these days. Sardi, Garmi, they're all jumbled up these days. We say, the temperature of the earth has risen by a few degrees. So a lot of things are happening. Water security is a big issue. Many people are not getting good water, to drink, let alone about bathing and cleaning, and we who are the blessed ones getting a water supply 24 hours a day. We are even using water to mow our lawns, to wash our cars, and all those kind of washing activities. So we have to be a little more sensitized about these things. So all these things, food security is an issue. Energy, because population is increasing, our lifestyles are becoming better and better. India is moving towards a developed nation, so our energy requirements are also increasing. So we have to provide this increasing population with increasing energy, per capita energy also. Habitat has to be provided, health, all these fire hazards are there. These days fire also has become a big issue these days, because all the development that is happening, it is all unplanned in an unsystematic way. So because of all this proliferation, what is happening is the safety standards are not at all put into consideration. So fire, if it breaks out, it leads to a huge damage to property, life, and all these things. And all these natural disasters have also increased many-fold. If you talk of tsunamis, the winds, the hurricanes, the earthquakes. So there are so many challenges that we are facing as a society, as a civil engineer. Okay. If I talk specifically, since we're talking of smart city, if I talk specifically about the urban scenario, these are some pictures which you all will relate to. These are very common pictures talking of, water scarcity, the way density, population density is there. It's like, if you see an area, it's like all buildings look like chota kira makora in a very small thing. You have packed so many things. So all the solid waste management, which I was talking about, this is a very common sight in any city. Where I stay, Zirakpur, this is there in every, I would say, in every 3-4 kilometers, you will find such a patch which is there. What is this? Again, this is a very common scene from industrial activity. All the pollutants are coming, all the sewage disposal, how people are, fighting for water. These natural disasters, they have increased so many fold. Okay. So again, what is happening, our land use pattern, as I say, is rapidly changing. What used to be agricultural land, what used to be a dense forest cover, is now being, shaved off just to provide housing to people, because our population is increasing, no doubt. So, but again, there has to be a balance. And many times our political leadership and governance is weak, to handle, if we could have handled these things at a right stage in the right planned fashion and all. So these things are still a challenge. The population is increasing, the concentration of people, their economic activities, as we say, everyone is having more assets now. There was time when a phone used to be a luxury commodity. Now, then from a landline phone, a mobile phone used to be a luxury commodity. Now, a mobile phone is such a thing which every person has. Okay, so no doubt it's a sign of what development we are achieving. But again, we have to understand now, the fabric of the people's lives and all that is changing. Their needs are changing. So they have to be provided adequate facilities according to that. So at the same time, we have a lot of urban decay in terms of slums and poverty. We see a lot of, these slum corridors which always pop up around the urban areas, because there is a need for all this labor kind of thing. So again, that is called kind of an urban decay. So it has to be in a planned fashion. There are so many high amounts of waste, high amounts of greenhouse gases that we're emitting from our everyday activities. Then there is energy issues, our fossil fuels are depleting. We have to switch over to the renewable sources. So all these are increasing the susceptibility for the disasters, for the hazards. They are increasing the impacts of climate change. And also, you have to understand there is so much of infrastructure which is aged now and which is more vulnerable now. Because it is aged, it is more vulnerable. Okay? So institutional constraints, as we say, aging infrastructure. Then there is ICT gap, because everyone has now all these gadgets and techniques. There is lack of investment. Public service has to be there. Service has to be good. Data unavailability. You give all these things to the people, but data is not there. How to monitor them? How to plan according to that? Okay. So quality of service is also one important aspect, which I feel, is something where India lacks in many places. If you say customer, because I've seen the fabric, how the society is there in many other countries also. This is one area which I feel that quality of service is something which Indians also need to start putting. We have a lot of potential in terms of our cultural heritage, in terms of our diversity, in terms of our values and all. But quality of service is still something that we are not as good as other countries. This will take us much, part apart if we start doing that. Okay. So with all these things, we have a global urban population of almost 3.5 billion, which is expected to surpass in the next 10 years to almost 5 billion. So what is happening is we are engulfing the urban areas, they're engulfing the towns also, and kind of, the boundary line between rural and urban is almost blurring right now. Okay. So cities, they have financial and specialized services for business, industry, manufacturing sectors. That's what cities are. That's how you define a city, apart, different from rural. So there's a sharp population rise, as we can see. Okay. As I said, there are peri-urban areas which start proliferating, immediately joining the urban areas. Okay, so they are localized outside formal urban boundaries. They are called urban corridors also. There are city chains that start happening, like we know around Chandigarh, the Tri-City was there. Now, even other regions, many cities have been now started included in Chandigarh only, Kharad and all those kind of cities. So this kind of things happens, they become city chains, urban corridors. Okay, so then there are terms like mega cities, which are termed as cities having population more than 10 million, and meta cities more than 20 million. So it is estimated that about we'll have about by another, another 2-3 years, we'll have 27 mega cities, that kind of inhabitants in just the urban areas. And amongst them, 21 will be in the developing countries. The developing countries already have a lot of challenges, So there are so many socio-economic, environmental challenges that are there for the residents, for the business, for the industries, for municipalities and governments. Okay, because we are generating high waste. There is law and order disruption because if there is a lack of amenities, people will fight over it. Law and order disruption will be there. ये जो चोरियां वगैरह होती है for the water and all these things, they all happen because it's not adequately provided to everyone. So this happens, Then poor disposal of the waste is a problem. Poor management, the services of the municipal and all, they all have to manage. Not only in the in the public, private domain also should start coming in here. Okay, so there is danger to human health and environment because of all this things. So what is happening is today the disposal of waste by landfilling or land spreading is the ultimate fate of all solid waste. What we are doing is we're just putting most of the things. Actually, majority of the things are going into landfilling. And what landfilling means is pollution of the land. This is one picture, which I like to always put in, which is a very, grand example of what our urban infrastructure, or what our urban fabric lifestyle is doing. This is something which I found, after this had happened, I think in few years back in Chennai with the floods, So this was something which someone had written. It is a return gift by the nature. Our deeds are catching up with us. Okay, so this is one of the bridges in Kerala after the water receded, after the floods, So this is, this is the current urban problem. What is there is bad city planning, indiscriminate erection of walls and housing structures. They block the water flow channels to form big floods. That's what's happened. So bad refuse disposal schemes are there. We are just dumping solid waste indiscriminately without thinking and trashing all the drainage and stream channels. So there is clogging of the flow, natural flow path of all those storm water and rainwater, and which is also polluting the surface water systems in return. So another thing which I found, I think which is actually, very correct these days. So, even as I said, even the other species, the animals, they are also suffering because of us. We are actually in kind of introducing waste into their systems also. Okay. So, these days the news are filled with all these examples, how, a whale was found with 22 kg plastic in her stomach. This is about 7 kgs of plastic, gloves and underwear found in dead deer stomach. So, what we are doing, this is all a problem of solid, the waste management, how we are disposing the waste, and it is in a wrong fashion and it is entering into the other animals. Okay, so waste generation is an activity in which materials are identified as no longer of being value, once something, if you say it is of no value anymore, then it becomes a waste. Okay, so it is thrown away or gathered together for disposal. So waste handling and separation then becomes the activities which are associated with management of waste until they are placed in storage container for collection. So that is one. And then handling also means encompassing the movement of loaded containers to the point of collection. Then separation is important step because we have to separate the waste as per their categories also. So that is also an important part of the handling and storage. Waste collection, then gathering all the waste and recyclable materials, the transportation of these materials after collection, then transfer from the smaller collection vehicle to the larger transportation equipment, and subsequent over the long distances to a processing or a disposal site, as we all know. Okay, so municipal and urban solid waste, if you see, Mostly it consists of the household domestic waste. There is commercial waste also. There is a big component of biodegradable waste also, such as food and kitchen waste, the green waste, the papers. There are many recyclable materials also which are part of this waste, like paper, glass, bottles, cans, metals, all which we're using in our everyday life. Then there are waste, dirts, rocks, debris which are inert. There are composite waste like clothing, plastics, waste plastics, toys. Then there are some hazardous waste also, which are the household hazardous waste and toxic waste, such as pharmaceutical and medical waste, the paints, the chemicals, light bulbs, the CFLs, the spray cans, fertilizers, all these kind of batteries, shoe polish, they're all under the hazardous umbrella. Other waste, apart from these household and these waste, is the construction and demolition waste, which is also a big component. Agriculture and forestry waste, the mining and quarrying, and the energy production wastes are also there. Now, there is a greenhouse gas cost which is associated with these solid waste, because when we're transporting or handling, so most of the solid waste management systems, they collect, they move and process the waste using fossil fuel powered vehicles. So that is also one component which is adding to this kind of activity. So they are emitting greenhouse gases. Then when we are going for the landfilling or combusting, okay, so then there is anaerobic reactions that are happening, which are decomposing. They give off harmful gases like methane, which is one of the major greenhouse gas, okay, and it is almost 22 times more potent than the carbon dioxide. Okay, so these kind of activities have a greenhouse gas cost also. Okay, so we have to understand waste is it's not that we have to think that only government will take care of the waste. I just have to throw the waste out of my home. My home should be clean. So we have to understand that this is everybody's business. We all produce waste in nearly everything we do. We just stop and think, ponder for 2-3 minutes. Every activity is generating waste. Okay, so there are challenges to the waste management. Of course, there are physical constraints, collection, disposal, handling, all those infrastructure is not there. Then there is development crisis, population is increasing, so more people to cater to with these kind of facilities. Budgeting issues are there, and environmental education and participation is very important, as I said. So master plans have to be developed, how to tackle all this waste at urban level. Poverty, underdevelopment, ignorance, these are again places where also the waste disposal issues are there. Okay, so physical constraints, as most of this we have seen, the adequate infrastructure problems are there. Okay, vehicles for collection, the people for collection, all these kind of local government, they have to provide all these kind of things. Okay, then because urban, as we see, the population is increasing manyfold, and we are moving towards meta city situations also now. So there has to be proper plans. Development crisis is there. Okay. Budget almost based mostly the budget which is there is 77% is spent on collection and haulage, so very minor remains on the waste disposal. So that is the reason everything ends up in landfill sites, and now we are actually falling short of landfill sites also in many places. That is also Delhi, one example. Even Panchkula area, if you come, that is also started facing these issues. But again, there are other examples also. Good examples are also there. Overpopulation. Okay, so urban area, of course, what is happening, we are disposing our waste in both approved and unapproved site. Densely populated already the cities are, so that is again a problem for us. Okay, education, I feel, is very important. Participation is very important. Okay, we all have to understand that it is my duty. My waste is my duty. When I start understanding that my waste is my duty, I don't have to pollute the environment with that. Definitely it will bring a big change. Okay, master plans, policies, they all have to be there. Okay, so solid waste is heaping up, all those things we've already discussed. Okay, this is one graph that I found from the World Bank data, and that the composition of waste in India, if you see, 50% of it is organic. This is something what I would say is a silver lining behind all this scenario that we have been discussing. There is still a silver lining, which 50% is organic. So why can't we do something about it? Why term it as a waste? Then there is a glass, again recyclable, paper, metal, they're all recyclable. Plastic, 6% is there, which is quite a good number, I would say. So why not reduce this number, and why not recycle it? Okay, even per capita waste generation, okay, a kg per day, if we see, we are having a lot of generation here. Most of the population if you see, is generating higher per capita waste. Okay, this is in India. So with every year, if we see every 10 years or 5 years, the data, if you see, the per capita generation is increasing because our lifestyle is changing, the facilities are changing. Most of the people are blessed to people have good, now spending power also. So again, our lifestyles are changing, so we are generating more and more waste. A classic example which I always like to quote is these days, even my own daughter, she's 8 years, she's so fond of all these things like McDonald's, KFC. If you see all these things, the kind of packaging that they're using for one single burger, there is a one complete box of paper, cardboard box, paper box, which is going waste. Then packaging that they give. So, slowly what is happening, we are moving towards those Western styles. India was lesser in number as compared to them, as compared to waste. But now we are slowly moving towards that kind of lifestyle. All these kinds of where we are packaging, home delivery. There is so much of waste generated because of that. We're simply throwing all those plastic bags, all those plastic cans. So I don't know, like somehow our tradition, which used to be there, used to have chais in coolers and all those steel glasses and all. Those traditions are somehow we are forgetting and mimicking the Western world. It's not bad to be developed, but I feel we should understand in a responsible fashion that that development should also be beneficial for the environment. So these are again some of the challenges which is there. I would actually encourage you all to go to this link that I have provided here. We will see a lot of more details also. Okay, so again, waste is generated in the public areas, which is a very common thing. People don't shy away. You eat something, people are just throwing it away. Biscuit खाया, chips खाया, वही के वही फेंक दिया. अब पेरेंट्स ऐसा कर रहे हैं तो बच्चे भी यही देखेंगे, वो भी आगे ऐसे ही बनेंगे. Somewhere pan thuk diya, wo sab. So all these things are happening. Then waste generation is there, of course, from the home. Also, high quantity is there. Okay. Then waste handling. This is one classic problem. Dustbin के आसपास ज़्यादा कूड़ा होता है, dustbin के अंदर कम होता है. So how we are handling the waste, how we are disposing it. Then infrastructure problem is there. Maybe staff is not there. Then waste collection many times it is not happening in a timely fashion. The vehicles are not coming. Okay. Then sorting and segregation is a big issue. Okay, although I feel at many places now this sensitization is happening, we see around it, but still, if we talk of India as a whole, this problem still has to be tackled in a big fashion for many places. Although India has very good examples also, which I'll show you. Okay, then it has to go for recycling or landfill or incineration, or ultimate is the disposal, which you should always avoid. Okay. So we have to have a motivation among people that they have to segregate the waste. Policies has to be there, okay, for segregation of the waste at the source itself. That always, saves a lot of infrastructure, a lot of money of the government also, and government money. Otherwise, if we say is our tax money only. So we have to, be participatory into it, okay, and the sources have to be provided, okay. So segregation of waste is very important. We have to promote awareness. Many times, automated segregation techniques are also there. Effective capacity for planning and utilization of waste bins should be there. Waste bins, you have to plan them, utilize their full capacity also. So we'll look into some of these examples. So solution, if you all see, what you can see here is the example. One is that if we have, all 4 types of different bins where we are segregating the waste, so there will be only one category of waste which will actually go in the land. Okay, so this is like if we are not segregating in a very good fashion, but at least we're collecting in different ways. So this is something where we are not segregating at all. Everything is going inside the land and polluting the land. Okay, so what we need is a reliable waste collection service also. Okay, then again the vehicles have to be appropriate to local conditions. And since the waste is increasing, the more number of vehicles are also required at that time. Okay, so cooperation has to be there among the communities. Waste sorting should happen as much as possible. Okay, so there we have to encourage also the markets for recycled materials. That has to be there. Supply and demand, they go hand in hand. So if there is supply of materials which can be recycled, there has to be demand for them. So industries which can process it. Okay, so even landfill sites, they should be properly engineered, properly operated. Okay, so clearing of waste along roads, underneath bridges, that is required. Small scale waste composting plants, they always help. They promote employment also. Waste management legislation, proper policy will always help in enforcing this in a better fashion. Unauthorized use of land has to be controlled. Okay, and accurate population data will always help in planning these waste management systems. Okay. And the most important, what I feel, is the education. Always, it is the first step in effective control of the solid waste and management. Okay, so permanent. If we think it is a permanent process, which will actually, as I said, imbibe in the minds of the people, so that they have that curiosity to behave in that fashion, to develop skills in that area, and maybe take up good entrepreneurship opportunities and all when they grow up. So all these things are a permanent, which always leaves something spark in your mind. Okay, so environmental education is very important. Education not just about awareness; it is also about having the attitude and also doing the action for it. Okay, so with attitude, you'll have a concern that that this is my country, I'm a citizen. But then awareness, you have knowledge, skills. But then action is you have to participate in it. Okay, you have to find new ways, do research, come out with innovations, your own ways to contribute in this. Okay. So again, as we say, we go from information to education to awareness to insight to participation, and then we are kind of stakeholder. We always bring in. It is at the highest of the pyramid, but so which is the most effective, no doubt. But the at ground level, you have to start with the information. Okay? This is another example which I found that some scientists, they have developed turmeric-based film to package food items. I think this is something which will definitely help in reducing all that single-use plastic which is being used for packaging and all. Okay, so with this, we get into the concept of a clean city. Okay, so the criteria for terming a city clean has not been a superficial assessment of the city's look. It's not just about how city looks and feel, but how sustainably it is managing its waste. Okay, so we can divide cities into three categories for this purpose. The cities that collect, that segregate, that process the waste. They indicate a holistic way to process the waste. And then there are cities which collect but only have partial segregation and treatment facilities. And then there are cities which do not do anything for segregation or processing the waste. Okay? So that is where we come to this concept of a smart city, which you all already, I'm sure, have seen since this is your third day into this course. So amongst all these aspects, smart waste management is also one of it, which is this one. Okay? Smart waste management is one of those aspects. Okay. So when we talk of smart, this is example where I found in the city of Kanpur, drones are being used to monitor traffic, prevent accidents. So the reason I included it here was, what came to my mind is, why cannot this technology then be used even for waste management? Okay, we, when Swachh Bharat was populated by the Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, there were so many things which happened. Even in Chandigarh, I remember RJs used to say that we have an app and all. Whenever you find something, you just click a picture, send us, we'll do, get it cleaned and all those. So if we have, of course, humans who can be the eyes and ears, then even drones can be, put to these kind of use to, manage how the things are happening. There are others also just included, how things are going forward. Okay. Just very quickly, I'll take 1 minute to share. I'm not sure how many of us know it, but this idea of smart city, okay, was first developed by the technology giant IBM. Okay, so they created a worldwide initiative called the Smarter Cities, so that the cities, they can leverage data to improve the operational performance in many sectors, including the waste management. Okay, so now, of course, it has become a big attraction for everyone. Okay, so I'll skip these parts. Okay. I hope you're all aware of the Sustainable Development Goals of UNO. Okay, so there are these sustainable 17 development sustainable SDG that they're commonly termed. So waste is one of the major part of it. Okay, now if you quickly look at smart cities, it was launched in India in 2015. 100 smart cities have been planned. Money has been allocated by the government. Of course, investment is expected from the industry also in a big way, and state and governments will also, ULBs will also be investing, and population into 30 that we are estimating is this. I think we'll be reaching this number very soon now, it seems. Okay. So again, this is the Indian Smart City solution that has been planned. So of course, solid waste management, sewage waste management, they're all a part of it. I will go touch into the other parts. Okay, so let's look into what is a smart waste management system. We'll talk of SWM. Okay, so with the challenge of growing cities, of climate change, and of the waste issues, I'm trying to balance this economic development and at the same time managing the waste in a sustainable fashion. As we said, we cannot stop people that, मैं तो develop हो गया, तुम develop मत हो. ऐसा, we cannot say those people. Anyone के आप मतलब आप so you stop this, you don't develop, आप अपना अच्छा lifestyle मत लाओ. With lifestyle, these things are coming. We have to change our way, the way we execute our lifestyles. Okay. So that is with the smart. We say this internet is the hardcore in the heart of this all smart system. Okay. So it is there in terms of the 2G, 3G networks for the sensors which are there. We are applying all the sensors. Then there are mobile collection apps. Then there are systems which are tracked by GPS. Okay, so apps are there. GPS, they are helping us in many ways in the waste bins also. All these kind of things. Servers are there centrally which are using this data. Okay. So again, as I said, we are having two innovation functions here. One is the operational efficiency of the system. Operation should be efficient and the waste has to be reduced. It doesn't mean that just because I have a smart technology now I can, instead of I can start producing as much waste as I want. No, waste reduction is the first step. Always it is the 3 R's when we talk of, to always say reduce is the first step which you can do, which is the best thing which you can do. Let's not term something as a waste. Reduce, reuse, and then recycle. Okay. So why is it required? Because waste management services, if you see, they are existing in every community. Industry's current operating standards have proven inefficient. So again, what we have to go is start tapping into the local fabric also. So because many times what is happening, we are having outdated manual collection methods, logistical processes. So data-driven solutions are not there. Okay, so again, IoT related solutions is what will help us here. Okay, from waste bins, which are equipped with fill sensors, to database management, logistic platforms. So we are moving towards this cleaner and efficient part of modern life. Okay, so again, as we say, the smart waste management, it starts from data. Data has to be there. From data, we collect some information, like who will collect the garbage, what is the status of the garbage bin, when was it last collected, what is the location of the full bin. From that information, we get a knowledge of how to plan the route of the trucks, how many days till the next collection. And then we develop an understanding why the garbage truck was not able to pick up the garbage, why a particular area is full of garbage. And that leads us to a wisdom of planning in a better fashion. Okay. So we'll look into some smart cities concepts of IoT for waste management. IoT is this little thing, it is the Internet of Things, which is a concept in which surrounding objects are connected to wired and wireless networks without any user intervention. Okay, so that is the concept of IoT. So the objects communicate, they exchange information to provide advanced intelligent services for users. So all these things, I think most of the things we are using in a big fashion these days, Wi-Fi modules, ultrasonic sensors and all these things, cloud, everything is on cloud these days. We all use Google Drives, OneDrive, Dropbox, they're all cloud storage of data. Okay. So, from floppies to CDs to DVDs, where DVDs also now outdated, pen drives, now people are moving towards cloud storage. Okay. Then integration of ICT is very important because we have an integrated global economy. There are so many innovations which are coming in telecommunications. So there is increased availability also of ICT these days. So, but it has to be carefully designed. The operational possibilities, proper coordination among all sectors like design, implementation, and assessment. Okay. So this is again one picture which is showing how data, which is there is infrastructure which is accessing all the data from the garbage cans. It is going from to the sensors from here to here. Is going to the cloud platform. So everywhere, all the data is being stored in a cloud platform. Then again, it is being used for the various implementation techniques. So data collection is very important. Store it in there and then is being implemented for further improvement in the systems. So waste reduction is very important. So waste could be dramatically reduced with the right machine-to-machine application. So that is called asset and material tracking. So if you use the right IoT technology, a grocery store, just an example, could track exact quantities of food that they regularly sell. So they can cut back on the waste, unnecessary bulk ordering nahi karenge. It can reduce spoilage. This is a bit different than what we traditionally think of as waste management, but the upstream waste problem is massive. So it is worth addressing. These small things can also help. Okay. From a consumer perspective, the makers of smart refrigerators, appliances, they will be able to bring this technology into the home. So smart products, they will alert consumers when food is going to spoil or when they're running low on key provisions. So these kind of ideas, they are floating around and they can definitely help. So they can purchase before they go bad. The consumers, they know when they have to purchase, they become more aware of the foods that they purchase and eat regularly, and eventually turn into a more conscientious shoppers. Okay, so just one example. Garbage bin solutions, mostly garbage bins happens is many times they are underutilized. So if you have regular compression of waste, that could lead to significant higher storage. If you compress the waste, so the same bin can give higher storage also, more volume also. So lesser number of pickup turns will be required, improved efficiency, less pollution also. And we can also incorporate solar-based compactor, which are there working on the linear actuator principle. Okay, these kind of technologies are also there. Okay, this is one example which I came across from one of the presentations by CII and IGBC. How they are showing what is an automated solid waste management system which has been implemented at a city level, wherein they are automated collection is also there and transportation is also automated. So what you see here is person is disposing the waste. Okay, here the waste disposal is happening. It is automatically being collected here, and through chutes it is automatically being transported to the facilities where it is being then processed. Okay, so waste is sucked through the pipes at a speed of almost 90 kilometers per hour and then diverted to a centralized storage for recycling. So everything is computer control access. Waste has to be thrown in a disposal chute. Okay, so this is, of course, I think if this step goes wrong, all the system has no use. So again, human intervention, jahan ek hi jagah chahiye, if that is not correct, then that will not happen. So we have to understand that we have to put it in the right place only. Okay. One example of a solar powered trash compactor. Okay, so it is a smart device. It reads the waste bin fill level in a real time, and it triggers an automatic compaction of the waste, increasing the bin's capacity to almost 5 to 8 times. Okay, so it runs on a battery which is charged by solar panel. These are other examples of smart bins that you see. So they have sensors which are attached to it on the opening. Okay, so they're able to sense it. Okay. So again, with this, we can stop overflowing. Okay, we can harness solar energy. They can be standardized also. So filling and cleaning will also be reduced. Okay, and they, of course, they communicate information on real-time basis, as we said. Okay, so they use a route algorithm where they will smartly find the shortest route. It will reduce the number of vehicles if we do that, and we can send optimized routes directly to the drivers. The optimized route where they can go and collect in an optimal way. Okay, so fuel collection visits, fuel consumption is also less. Okay, from a citizen's perspective, of course, that was from government's perspective, how it is helping. Their economic and environmental awareness, of course, will help. Sanitation will be better, cleaner streets. We all like to walk in a clean place. Nobody likes to walk in a dirty place. It will encourage recycling, collect and analyze area-specific data, and then it will increase the Wi-Fi coverage also, as a free public Wi-Fi spot or hotspot also can be provided to people. Many countries, they are doing that these days. Okay, so these are just examples I wanted to share with you. That these kind of technologies are available, and we shouldn't think that all these things that we're talking of are they really implementable, are they really viable and all. So there are many examples which are there, and these things are available. Okay, multi-purpose smart street is another concept, friends, which is there, which has a smart bin with the sensor. Okay, which is this picture. It has smart bins with the sensors. Then apart from that, there is an LED display system for public information is also there. Okay. Then there is street information boards. There are Wi-Fi hotspots. There are CCTV cameras. Okay. So this has various features of a durability, affordability, accuracy, prevention against damage, issues addressed when these smart dustbins are designed. So this is kind of a whole package which they have given so that people don't, there is also not any vandalism and all with these kind of things, sometimes thefts and on vandalism things are also there. So this kind of thing is also giving you monitoring. Okay. Now this is another concept which is like collection on streets. Okay, so free Wi-Fi is provided, as I said, almost sometimes they're giving to almost 50-meter radius from the bin for 15 minutes. So it is possible through a keyword transfer to the mobile after dumping the waste. So this is the kind of innovation you are doing, incentive to people. So easy tracing of the dustbin is there. It also attracts the ongoers. Okay. Another solution, this is again a multi-purpose smart street bin concept. Okay. So what they have done is they have created a kiosk here. Okay. So again, a smart bin sensor is there. You put the waste. Okay. Public information is also being displayed at the same time. So the same thing is being used in many fashions for and making it attractive to the people giving Wi-Fi also. It has CCTV cameras also. Okay. So again, smart bus stops for air quality, flood monitoring sensors, smart sensors, RFID points. The citizen smart card kiosks are there, biometric attendance system, solar changing panels. A lot of things are being done these days. Okay? These are again few examples, as I said, how cities look clean with these smart bins and what kind of, how they have made it attractive also, You can even, display information like of railways and all those things here with advertisements. The government can earn some revenue also. People are getting Wi-Fi facilities and all those things. Okay, this is the example of London. Okay, this is in Sharjah. Okay, so I think a lot of things. This one example here. Okay, this is where it has a smoke sensor also, ring alarm if the bin catches fire. This is an example in China. Okay. Now coming to the waste collection now. So all the public services and waste management companies, they have been around for a long time. So again, innovations have not picked up as much in this sector. So operational efficiency has not been there for the last few years. One big problem that they face is that it is better to pick up trash receptacles too often than to allow something like this to occur. Okay, so but again, there is another aspect. As I said, we have to make it efficient also, waste collection also. Okay, so route efficiencies, as we said, optimization. Again, IoT will again help us, machine to machine technology. Okay, they will tell up where it is required. Okay, so the GPS satellite, of course, is there. Then there is a cellular network. So they're all giving the GPS tracking of all the trucks is done. They are being provided with the data where to go. Okay, so with this GPS integrated servers, the data is transmitted there. Then again, the vehicle is seen in the real time. Okay. So again, as we said, check post also have data when the vehicle has taken it. RFID tags are attached. So readers are there, GPS units. So infrastructure is provided in such a way. Parking, even in parking garages and jockeys, there are log sheets. Transfer stations log sheets are there. Route report, or everything has been done in dumping grounds also. Customer data center is there. So everything is, everything is being gathered in real time, and the data can be used for quickly. The idea is with so much, data being gathered, if any problem occurs, so in real time, quickly they should be able to provide a solution at the real time basis. Okay? This is another example, which is an innovative waste company, Enovo. Okay? So they have created some dumpster sensor and software. When placed on the lids of the garbage, they can actually talk to the waste management company. So they tell when the capacity is full. A sanitization specialist can work on it, and they are saying that they have cut the cost also to almost 50%. Okay. So again, portable toilets, waste oil from restaurants, smaller trash and recycling bins within an office building. So all these are, cutting down the cost also then at the same time. Okay. Then there are smart systems also which are web-based. Okay, so automation of the solid waste monitoring process. Okay, then there are subsystems like smart trash systems which many companies have designed. These are just examples that I'm giving you. So just to arouse your curiosity, you can go ahead and kind of look more into these details of these terms. Smart monitoring and controlling HUD. Okay, so there are actually web portals also where they are actually real time looking into all these kind of applications. Okay. Another company, apart from Enovo, there's also eCube. So they are also providing many technologies. They are solar powered, compacting bins, sensors, analytic platforms are there, clean city networks, waste analytics. Their solution is their management CCNX. Okay. Again, this is reducing the collection frequency to almost 80%. So it can hold 8 times more waste as compared to non-compacting bins. So it is all solar based. Okay. This is one example of the sensor. This is the smart waste management system. As I said, the networks where they're actually, processing all the data using it. Okay. So most of the things, they are automated, programmed. So chances of mistakes are also less, missing information, anything, or that is also less. Okay. So this is a fleet management solution, how to manage the schedules and all those kind of things. Okay. So application areas can be, domestic, hotels, homes, malls, anywhere it can be there, railway station, bus stops, all these things. Okay. And this is what it is. Okay. I think we've talked about most of it. So let's talk of how the conceptually it should flow. The main three stakeholders are the local authorities, the waste collection contractor, and also the citizens. So everyone is a stakeholder here. So the local authority is responsible to add, to register and view the data sensors. It is responsible to register and add the new contractor also and view and update the complaints. The contractor is responsible to pick up the waste based on the indicators appearing on the map. So their main role is responding each of the status of the bins, and citizens, they have to give the feedback also by filling the complaints online and also disposing in the right fashion, I think. Okay. So time, money, decreased traffic flow, surroundings clean. It is all there, reduced manpower requirements, going towards a smart city, okay, generating extra revenue by advertisement on smart devices, I already told you. And of course, waste can be put to some materials production, recycle, and all those things can be done, okay. So from the waste process, we can generate fuels, gases, electricity, a lot of things can be done, you know. Coming to the implementation part, of course, both private services and municipalities, they can benefit from this, okay. So a small upfront cost in sensor technology, but operational efficiency, they will increase in multiple areas, okay. So decreasing cost in many and plenty of wireless technologies. So these things are actually possible now. Okay, but challenges, of course, everything has a challenge. We all don't like change very easily. So there is lack of technological standardization. Many times it happens, you know, standardization becomes an issue which one to go for, especially for the government fabric. It becomes, you know, which one to accept, which one to not accept. Standardization has to be there. So well-structured hardware, proper ICT governance, policies, incentives, business case and models, all these kinds. So sustainable mindset is very important in using smart technological innovations. Okay. Then there has to be cooperation and collaboration between stakeholders. Focus has to be on the privacy, security, and encryption of the data. You know, data with data, this is one thing which everyone has, you know, little bit reservations. So privacy and security of data is very important. So awareness and know-how and limitation on the architecture sometimes are their components and all those things. So they have to be looked into. Okay. So we have to understand that sustainability is a mindset. Green might be a trend, but sustainability has to be a mindset. From me, we have to move to we. Okay, so just telling you a few other service providers also in this area. There is a Big Belly, Compology, EQ. I already told you they are in South Korea. Enovo is there. Then there is a SmartBin also. Okay. So Tata Communications is also working in this area. Okay. So they also have like waste bins detections are there. Then it is connected to the command center via the gateway. Then there is an IoT platform which is consolidating inputs from waste bin nodes. And then there is end application which is sending all the information to the trucks for the pickup. Okay. This is another platform which is a smart waste management platform which is called the Fiware. It is basically consisting of all this. If you see, they have connected the whole city to it. You know, they are doing sensor-based waste, also waste collection, also recycling. All these things, they are all connected. Toilets also, toilet usage, everything is connected in a one kind of waste management services where they're doing big data processing and everything is being done. Okay, so this is another example. Okay. Then there are dashboards, as I told you, web based also they are there. Okay, so there are real-time monitoring alerts are there. Detailed information about each waste route planning is there. If you see here, you know, waste level indicators. So lifetime, they're telling you what is their real time. Okay. So waste generation, waste handling, waste collection, everywhere the solutions can be helpful. Okay. So this is something which is an innovation in India only. That's why I wanted to share. Okay. So they have an IoT hub in Andhra Pradesh, tech giants back digital India vision. Okay. Center of excellence is there. They have policy also in IoT. So, you know, you can be assured that the quality, the privacy, the encryption, all these things will be there. Okay. So sharing few best practices, friends. You know, Swachh Bharat, of course, is one grand example in front of us, which of course made a change, and we all were a part of it. We all experienced it. So you know, these kind of innovations are always there. Okay, coming to some more ground level examples. This is one Alappuzha city in Kerala. Now, what this city was facing a problem was that the main dump yard was closed due to protests by people living in the surrounding areas that, you know, it is very filthy, dirty, and it's not healthy for us to live around it. So what they have achieved, you know, they have actually what they achieved put them on the list of the United Nations report of 5 global cities that tackled their solid waste management at their own level. Okay, so again, since November 2012, so they have been clean. So they participants, I hope we had seen that various challenges are regard to the governance, the policies, the incentives, the lack of technological standardization. Cooperation has to be there among all stakeholders, awareness, know-how. Okay, that's something which I was talking about. These are some solutions, solution providers. I just wanted to tell you the names, which are working in this area. So do visit their website, so you will come to know many things that they are doing in this area. Okay, this is another. Tata Communications also has an end-to-end solution to this waste. They are detecting in the waste bins, then they are connecting to a command center via gateway. Then IoT platform is consolidating the inputs from the waste bins, and the end application is sending information to the truck. Okay, this is another application 5-year which they have done. So if you see, they are actually managing the entire city waste from bins to the collection centers, the recycling plants, air quality sensors, city council having all the data, toilet sensors are there, toilet usage sensors are there. So they are doing all end-to-end solution in a real-time basis. Okay. Can you hear me?
You're perfectly audible, ma'am.
Okay, this is one example of a waste management dashboard, participants, wherein real-time monitoring of alerts based on smart bin live data is being shown. Okay, so detailed information is about each waste collection point. It is available on a click only. So it is very useful in planning the routes for garbage collection based on filled waste of bins. Okay, so solutions they are giving in 5-year, they are giving in waste generation, in waste handling, and also in waste collection. Okay, so again, it is one of the incentives in India for IoT and open source with a hub in Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so many center of excellence they have, NASSCOM and Government of India. They have a policy on IoT. So, kind of something safe solution which they are providing. Okay, so just looking into some of the best practices. I think this is one that you all recall being a part of it. Swachh Bharat, of course, it did bring many accolades. Many things were achieved with the Swachh Bharat. And another example I would like to quote here is of the Alappuzha city in Kerala. The problem that the city was facing was that its main dump yard was closed by the people living around because it was very unhygienic for them to live around this main dumping yard. So what they achieved was a clean city in November 2012, which actually put them on the list of United Nations of the 5 global cities that successfully tackled their own solid waste. Okay, so what they did was instead of centralized, they decentralized their waste management. Okay, so 100% of segregation is now happening in the 23 wards, and 80% of the households they have biogas plants and pipe composting systems. Okay, so like this, everyone is tackling their waste at their own end instead of sending it to a central facility. Another example is of the city of Madurai. Okay, so a city which has been called the zero garbage city with a population of almost 1.4 million and a floating population 0.3, growing at 18%, waste generated to the tune of 500 metric tons per day. So what they have done is they have reversed their waste pyramid in which disposal is now at the least. So what they're doing is they are reducing their waste, they are reusing it, they are recycling it in a big fashion, they are trying to recover something from that waste also in terms of fuel, energy, all this kind of things. Okay, so this kind of model also they have achieved a lot of things. This is another example, friends, which is the other Poonawalla Clean City initiative. So what they are doing is, what you see is eye-catching support vehicles also. And then there is an app which is available to the citizens for tracking the garbage bins, what is being uploaded. They can also upload photographs. So they have almost 170 trucks or machines, 300 employees that are covering almost half of the city. And they plan to cover the whole of it in the coming time. So state-of-art machines as in Western countries, like Glutton vacuum litter picker, Trilo vacuum truck, truck-mounted road sweepers. So best technology is there. Vehicle-mounted pothole filling machines are there. So the success, of course, has been with the involvement of all the stakeholders like citizens, NGOs, civil officials, school waste, school people, and all colleges. Awareness programs were done for segregation. Okay. Another example is the Ahmedabad city, okay, which has an ICT system in place since December 14 with the GPS devices they are using for tracking. A system monitoring is there with RFID tracks being read by the RFID readers, okay, and special for especially the e-waste collection van which is there. All citizens they are giving their e-waste there only, okay. So I think this is one important thing which we all must also get sensitized. E-waste is very harmful and hazardous. We must dispose it in a safe fashion only to the people who are authorized to deal with it. Okay. This is the the web-based application EcoSkipper, wherein everything is being monitored. The current vehicle status is there, waste collection status is there on the map on real-time basis. Okay. So again, there are components like route, numbers have been given so that it is easy to track. Vehicles have been given proper number, okay, and time and all. It is being updated. Point of interest, which is the bin collection, total number of bins collected, plotted on the map, route summary, vehicle info, everything is given. Okay. So again, zone-wise bin lifter vehicles are there, GPS device, all these things. So they are doing a lot of things with this. Okay, Ahmedabad city. This is another smart solution. What you see, this is an example in Uttar Pradesh. So what it is doing, it is sensing the garbage near the bin and raises alarm if it is not kept inside. So I think this is something which is very good. Many times we see most of the trash which is around the bin and not inside the bin. Another example in Mumbai, which we see here, this is a kiosk which is made from recycled plastic and Tetra packs. It makes sound and claps when garbage is kept in it. So, you know, just motivating people to use it. Another example, this is in the city of Rome. So they are being offered free metro travel when they are recycling plastic. So when they're depositing the plastic bottle in this kiosk, they're getting a metro travel free ticket. Okay. Another idea in Delhi, a smart idea, you know, beautifying this garbage bin so that people don't look down on it, but you know, they are always excited to put the trash inside it. Okay, catching people's eye. Another example, this is the waste ATM, attractive smart solution for the Amravati city. Okay, and they are getting coupons. People are getting coupons after filling the waste in the bin, which can be encashed at special counters, shops, or malls. Okay, even with LED for advertising, they are generating revenue also, government. Okay. Some success stories. This is a deposit refund scheme for cans and drinking bottles, which is being done in the European Union and the UK. What they're doing is they're giving incentive to the consumers if they return a bottle or a can. So they're compensated. It reduces the pressure on the landfills and it is applied to all products. It increases the rate of recycling. And of course, it can be replicated in local regions also. Another example is the Kamikatsus in Japan. So one of the role models when it comes to waste management and almost reached a zero waste region. And what they are doing is recycling is the core of most of their operations. So residents, they're segregating the waste into 34 categories here, friends. So 80% is recycled in the region, only 20% goes to the landfills. So no more garbage trucks are required. Each resident has to wash, sort, and bring their trash to the recycling center. Okay. So residents, of course, it took time for them to get used to the system, but with this implementation and all, now everyone is used to it and happy results are there. So worker is overseeing the sorting process at the center, making sure the trash is going into the right bin. And of course, some of these items, used items are taken to businesses to be resold also or repurposed into clothing, toys, or accessories. So they're making use of maximum, not terming something as a waste at the end. Another example is of Sweden. Okay, when it comes to waste management and recycling, so 99% of the waste they are recycling and only 1% is going to landfill. And the situation is that in fact the landfill is so empty that apparently Sweden has to import waste from other countries. So again, to almost half of their household waste, they are converting it into waste to energy technology, generating energy. Okay, so before this process starts, homes and business, they filter and they separate the waste into hazardous waste, recyclable material, sent to different waste management systems like incinerators, recycling, and very small amount goes to landfills. So even the furnaces in the WT plants, they are loaded with garbage, burnt to generate steam, which is further used to spin turbines to produce electricity. So even the steam, all this energy and all, they are all putting it to use. The waste that is recycled is essentially used as a resource converted into district heating, electricity, biogas, and biofertilizer. So sort of win-win situation, waste also not polluting, and at the same time, even they are meeting their energy demands also. Okay. USA, another story which we can look at, has an eco-friendly robotic machine in Baltimore River. Is powered by sun and river currents, and it cleans the debris and waste from the river and deposits in a dumpster barrage, which is built into the machine. Germany has a company which produces biodegradable leaf plates to curb plastic pollution. There is a smart belly bin in Australia. So segregate waste at the collection point, compost, treat the waste also at the same point, and connect individual bins to garbage collectors, streamlining the waste management. So there are many other companies also which I've already showed you. SmartBin is from Dublin, Ireland. eCubes is from South Korea. Okay. And again, many cities like Amsterdam, Atlanta, London, Melbourne, Philadelphia, others, they are putting all these solar powered compacting bins. Okay. Then examples like Montreal in Canada or Santander in Spain. So they're equipping the bins of private households with latest sensor technology. Okay. So even they are putting it now in the private homes also. Okay. Then there's also example of Rosenbaum design studio in Brazil. They're encouraging people to use plastic waste to decorate and beautify their houses. Okay. Colombia, another city, has EcoBot, which is a vending machine, gives rewards such as movie tickets, vouchers, monetary compensation for every time someone puts a plastic bottle or a bottle cap inside it. Okay, so again, if we start, diffusing such technologies all places, so they can be very easily adaptable also to the localized scenarios. So we have seen, in so many countries it is being done. Another city, city of Toronto, long-term plan 30 to 50-year integrated waste management. They will include both circular economy and zero waste components. Okay, so food waste and textile, they are aiming to reduce it to a big thing. Another example which I thought of sharing was, example in where they're doing the e-waste recycling all the time. Okay, hybrid truck is collecting the solid waste recyclables in the city of New Rochelle. Okay, so here what they're in North Hempstead. Okay, so the town, all 11 school districts within jurisdiction, they were there. So they are trying to move in a very greenhouse gas reducing materials and waste management. Okay, so everything is going for collection and recycling at the same time. This is example of New York. So climate smart communities, they're taking the lead, solid waste management. Okay, they what they are doing is they're leaving only limited residues for combustion or landfilling. So they can minimize the tax money they spend for waste disposal. That's how, they started seeing it, what clicked to the people, that it is at the end, our tax money will be saved in processing of waste then. Okay, so waste prevention, reuse, all these things they are doing. Okay, comprehensive recycling, recovery of waste organics, energy recovery, as we have seen. So New York is also doing that. Okay, so again, climate smart waste management, we have to go for a waste management which also becomes climate smart. We reduce the greenhouse gases. Okay, so that's what they are doing. The maximum amount of materials is recovered. Okay, strategies for material efficiency are there. There are many other case studies, friends, which are there, which I would encourage you all to have a look at. Tamil Nadu, Chennai, Patna, Hyderabad, the GHMC, the Bangalore, Jaipur, the Mailavaram, the Rajam. So they are all kind of moving towards zero waste, wherein they are trying to avoid the waste at the first place, then minimize it, recover it. Okay, so 100% resource recovery from the waste, zero landfill, 100% recycling, material and energy recovery, behavior change, and sustainable consumption is happening here. Okay. So these are all advantages if we see, win-win situation, less menace also, and also we are trying to generate energy and all of things from this and giving clean environment to the people. So what I feel like what we started from, like urban scenario, decaying and all those things, challenges, we can, look towards cities being the laboratories for the new green economy. So there is a lot of potential. So let's start tapping it. Okay. Nothing is impossible, if I say. It's all about attitude and the willpower, which I would like to quote here. This example, which I recently came across, astronauts on Moon, Mars, they may grow homes out of fungi. That is what NASA is aiming at right now. So, instead of making habitats made of glass and metal and all those things, so they are prototyping technologies. They can grow structures out of fungi on Moon and Mars to house the astronauts. Okay, so they would take a compact habitat built out of lightweight material with dormant fungi to the planet, and when they add water, the fungi would grow around the framework into a functional human habitat. So this just gives you an idea that nothing is impossible, friends. So we have to go for it. No material is waste until we destine it for a landfill or other disposable. So let's start taking responsibility of our own waste, and not just think that as long as I keep my home clean, my thing is done. I have to do it in a very sustainable manner and in a responsible manner. Okay? Thank you. I'll just stop here. Okay. Yeah. So, friends, I would like to hear from you all also. If you have any experiences to share or something we would like to discuss. I'm sure you also have a lot of experience in these areas. You have seen a lot of things. As we see, as we have seen all the solutions, they're coming from the local fabric only. So we have to go for appropriate technologies which are appropriate to the local communities. And unless people start getting involved, these kind of solutions will not be successful. Government is there, of course, but our own innovations, our own participation is very important. So, Dr. Amit?
Yes, madam. Is it
I'm done with my part, which I wanted to share.
Hello.
Okay. So, any participants, our participants want to ask anything, so you are most welcome.
Hello.
You can unmute yourself. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yes, Madan sir, please go ahead, Madan sir.
Hanji, good morning, madam. Very nice presentation, and we
Very good morning, Madan ji. How are you?
I am fine, thank you, and it is very informative also. So, my concern really is about this solid waste management in our campus and roundabout in all institute campuses like yours also. Because we happen to be dependent on municipal corporation for very small things like segregation, disposal, collection, everything. So recently our director also joined, and he was very keen to know that why we are not segregating and processing this solid waste, and especially biodegradable waste, which will require very minimum cost also, and very little efforts. So now to choose how to choose this appropriate technology, which can be at a very optimum cost, and which of course require participation of residents, and then we came to know that especially in other campuses and universities and PGI, and especially your campus also, when we talk to the stakeholders, they really tell that MC is doing their job. Why should we interfere in their work? So when we went to MC and we inquired from them, they clearly told us that all as per the rules, new rules, MC Solid Waste Management 2016 rules, every campus having area more than 5,000 square meter need to have their own processing facility installed. And these are required, and we are going to issue them so-called notices also in near future also. So going by that, we are in search of a good technology, and which can be installed at a minimum cost, and so we have opted for some kind of technology which is right now being opted at IIT Kanpur also. So because the major concern for composting is that it generate again a huge amount of waste also. You can say manure, which has to be used appropriately. If we are not giving them or using them appropriately, again the heap of that manure collects, and the big issue is how to dispose of that also. So when we searched for a technology, we came to know that there is a drum composting kind of technology right now installed there, and that technology they generate liquid manure. and it is around 80% of that output is in the form of liquid, and that can be disposed of to some nearby villages. And right now we have chosen a village in the nearby village in Punjab or say Chandigarh under Unnat Bharat Abhiyan. So we'll supply that that manure to them, and at a very minimum cost, or say free of cost, and then again the product will come to us in the form of organic farming, and which can be used in our hostels, kitchen and all. So when we
That's very
appreciate
good.
these efforts, we should not be dependent on government for every reasons, and especially
That is
for
very true.
our institutes. So I've got a bit good ideas from your this presentation also for disposing solid waste kind of thing. Biodegradable, that is okay, but what about the other solid waste, and what that building waste? These materials you rightly told that it can be converted into briquettes, it can be converted into other forms also. So we
Right.
plan to share
And in
with the
fact, Chandigarh
naturalists
now
so
has
that.
right. Chandigarh now even has a CND waste plant, which is they are processing it into recycled aggregates. Then all the construction and demolition waste. Even for the e-waste,
Okay,
you know,
okay.
there, as I told the example, for e-waste also, there should be, you know, we should all collect it. And I think right now it's not there, but that should be there. Some centralized place should be there. I'll share an example. Like for a few months, like I was in near London somewhere in a city. So what they were doing, like the main grocery stores, like we have, you know, these metros and big bazaars and all. So everywhere, you know, they have kept small bins, small boxes, I would say, wherein people can come and you know, give their batteries and all the waste, e-waste that they feel, so they can deposit it there. So e-waste is not coming home to home collection, but you know, at these very easy points, you're going for grocery, you take your batteries along with you and just give it there, and they will dispose it in a safe manner to the approved person. So these kind of things, you know, can always help. Maybe, you know, in a place like Chandigarh, we can go for sector wise, something like that. You know, mostly we are going in parks or somewhere, we can have some collection, and from there the government can take up. Even the medical waste, there are different, I would like to share, Chandigarh has you know, approved people who are collecting the biomedical waste also. So in any commercial you know, any commercial enterprise coming up, they have to take permission from the pollution control committee here. So even pollution control boards, they are placed in every state also, friends. So so they have to take consent from them. So with that, it is ensured that they are whatever waste that they are generating, you know, pollution, whatever kind of like paints, or like service centers hote hain for the cars and all, so they have paints. So they are, those are all coming under hazardous. So even biomedical waste, so that all has to be given to a only the authorized person. They sign an agreement with them that their waste will be collected, and you know, the government is monitoring in the sense unke logs are checked, when was the waste disposed, is it collected by them or not. So this way, you know, these kind of things, you know, you have government also has to, you are very right, like everything we might not be able to do at our own level. So e-waste is one, this hazardous waste. So government can provide these kind of facilities, and many places they are there. You know, that again brings me to that example of that Alappuzha city, how the people are, and Sweden and all, people are recycling 80% of their waste at their own level. So I think that is a very classic example, and with the biogas plants and all. Even Dr. Amit can also, you know, shed some light on it. Our campus also has done some initiatives. Dr. Amit will be able to tell in the rural development department when he was there. So they took many initiatives how our waste is also being converted to biogas and everything.
Actually, here I would like to add something that one of the initiative has been taken by one of a big hotel industry, Pallavi Hotel at Panchkula. So their daughter came from abroad, and she took the initiative that the all the waste generated by the hotel, now they are processing it at their own level. They are not dependent upon MC. And I called her for one of the lecture, and I myself have seen that what they are doing. So what they are doing, they have installed a very large, very big tanks, and in that tanks they are filling that tanks with that daily waste, and above that waste they are spreading that coconut that residue or the mud on that. After that, daily they are filling it, and after around 20-21 days, they are extracting that manure from the bottom side of it. not only she is doing that experiment in her hotel, but also at the house level also. So she was in the opinion that if the MC will not collect the waste from the household, so household will definitely develop something to dispose of their biodegradable waste, because now the MC is doing everything. That is why we are not segregating the waste at our household level even. And here in our institute campus, one phytoremediation plant we have installed near our near our mess. And in that mess we have installed around 3 tanks. In those tanks we have filled those tanks with the filtration material, and above that tanks we have grown some phytoremediation plant. The one plant named Kelly, it's one that name of that plant is Kelly. Some hydroponic plant is there, and they absorb the heavy metals from the that waste, and by filtration the water is cleared, and after that water we are supplying it to the our mini one mini farm, organic farm, which we have developed over there at Rural Development Department. So likewise, if I have myself visited the municipal corporation plant where they are processing the solid waste, and it is very great. It is great difficulty because it is very difficult to segregate the waste, and they are finding it so difficult because we are not doing it at our own level, but we are dependent on MC, which is that is not a solution for disposal of any waste. So we need to have some collaborative projects and some research projects for this maintaining the solid waste, because it is not a big kind of a it is not a very big kind of a science behind that. Just we need to keep that waste in a managed way, and we can convert it into the manure, and that manure can be used in our kitchen gardens and all. In my house, I have a very big garden, and in that garden I used to buy manure. But now, it is very difficult to educate our family even. If I am telling my wife to segregate that waste, so they are not ready to do that. So, but we need to understand ourselves that it is our duty to segregate the waste. And once I started the segregation of the waste, and the some of the part is sellable to the recyclable market, and some of the part that biodegradable part we are able to convert it into the manure. So for 1 month I did that, but after that I couldn't do that because my family is not supporting me for segregating, because all the waste they are putting it into the same dustbin. So sometimes we find it difficult, but now we need to change ourselves. If we are talking about the smart city management system and all these things, so we need to change ourselves. So any other participant? Anybody else want to share their own experience and want to ask something? Anything from Tamil Nadu? Because they all are working in rural development and Panchayati Raj. So anybody from Tamil Nadu? Any participant? So I think there is no query, as well as they don't want to share anything. So I would like to thank Engineer Himi Gupta for sharing her views with our participant as far as solid waste management is concerned. And I hope that you have enjoyed the lecture, all the participants